Welcome to another audio reading session of Listen In, presented by Tenkara Angler. We are excited to have you with us again. Today we will be presenting Southern Hospitality, the Alabama Redeye. An article by Chris Lynch. As a kid, I never really did much fishing. It was not a family pastime of ours. My first exposure to fly fishing was at the Philmont Scout Ranch in New Mexico when I was 16, and I absolutely loved it. Why I didn't further pursue it in the next 15 years is anybody's guess. Now I am active duty in the United States Air Force. When I got stationed in Montgomery, Alabama, a new coworker of mine was a fly fishing nut. I started hanging out with him, and the fire was lit. While reading up on fly fishing, I discovered the world of tenkara. To get my own gear started, I bought a Daiwa Kios tenkara rod, along with a Western Echo 4-weight fly fishing outfit. Fast forward 3 years. I'm fishing almost exclusively tenkara now, although I still have a 4-weight rod and reel setup for when I feel the itch. Alabama is not what you think of when somebody mentions tenkara. It just is not. Most anglers here have no clue what it is, what it means, or why you would use it. Most non-anglers are even more confused by it. In my local fly fishing circles, I'm the tenkara guy, and the source of a lot of ribbing. Even so, I have managed to convert a few over to fixed line methods. So, what do I target down here in the deep south? I assure you that it is not trout. We chase the ever-loving daylight out of the Alabama redeye. No doubt that my favorite species to pursue is the little-known group of fish that are native to the Mobile Basin, known simply as redeyes. In 2013, redeyes in Alabama were split from the single Micropterus cussi species into 4 separate but unique species based on their respective watersheds and slight morphological differences. These fisheries are the Coosa, Cahaba, Tallapoosa, and the Warrior Rivers. There is also one found in the Chattahoochee River over in Georgia. These redeye are fairly small with an 8 to 12 inch average adult length. They need clean, flowing water to thrive. They are very spunky and eagerly attack top water flies such as dries and poppers. However, they do not pass on wet flies or streamers when they get the chance. They also are mostly found in beautiful places, not unlike trout. This has given them the popular name of Bama brookies, for the obvious similarities they share with everybody's favorite native eastern trout. You did know a brook trout is not a trout, and is really a char, right? Okay, moving along. My first time on a redeye stream was in the Coosa River drainage, near Mount Cheaha. This is Alabama's highest elevated point. I landed several there, and started my bad addiction. These fish are so much fun to chase and catch. That was in summer of 2016, and I've since caught all 4 Mobile Basin species, and intend to do it again this summer. My usual tackle for redeyes has evolved as I've gotten more specialized with them as my favorite fish to target. I've found a softer, full-flex rod with sufficient length is my preferred tool. Rods like the Daiwa Soryu X45, the Nissin Royal Stage 320 cm or Prospec 320 cm in 6/4 flex, or a longer Air Stage 390 cm, work very well. Realistically, most redeye streams in Alabama are open enough to allow casting a longer rod like these, but there are some tributaries where a shorter one comes in handy. Redeyes eat a lot of the same kind of things that trout do, like small crayfish, insect larvae, and even smaller fish. In the early spring or fall, when water temperatures are still a little on the low side, you will get most of your bites subsurface with nymphs or streamers. In those conditions, I have had good success with larger, size 6 through 10, nymphs and kabari, like Chris Stewart's keeper kabari. This is about where the traditional tenkara aspect of chasing redeyes ends for me though, so you may want to put on your blinders if you aren't ready for some blasphemy. In the hotter months, which are typically April to October in Alabama, the funnest way to catch a redeye is with a top water fly. Whether this is dries, poppers, hoppers, it's all about big yellow flies. Redeyes eat a ton of terrestrials, so I've had great days where I had a giant foam hopper on all day and it just got destroyed. However, they still act like trout in that if you miss a hook set, you might as well give up on that run, as they'll be spooked out. These are not like a slight-minded sunfish, you still need to be on your game. One of the most popular and possibly the most celebrated fly for red-eye is the booblebug. This is a popper made right here in Birmingham, Alabama. People like to say you can use any color you want for red eyes, as long as it's yellow. This has been pretty accurate from my experience. A good buddy of mine, Matt Lewis, recently published a book about these fish. Titled as Fly Fishing for Red-Eye Bass, it is the best single source of information if you have any desire to learn more about them or attempt to catch one for yourself. Matt has helped to organize a red-eye bass slam challenge where you can either target the 4 mobile basin species, or go after all of the recognized species in the South, which comes out to 7 if you count the Altamaha and Bartrams. A lot of what Matt is trying to do is bring attention to these awesome and unique fish, which have quite specific habitat requirements and can bring a lot of fun to anglers. Currently, Alabama has some of the most relaxed environmental protection laws in the country, while hosting some of the most diverse and rich habitat. Fortunately, we have some very active riverkeeper organizations here in the state who are working very hard to raise awareness about these issues and fight against the many abuses of our resources. So, while Alabama is definitely more closely associated with college football than fixed-line fly fishing, the various species of energetic red-eye you'll find within the Yellowhammer State will definitely provide enough southern hospitality to make your Tenkara rod feel right at home. Thank you for spending this time with Tenkara Angler as we shared this article. Please let us take a moment to introduce the author. Chris Lynch is a father, husband, and is active duty United States Air Force. The Air Force has taken him all over the world, from Okinawa and South Korea and back to West Texas and Alabama. He has once again fallen in love with fishing and hopes that he can pass this affinity on to his son one day. This article originally appeared in the summer 2018 issue of Tenkara Angler. Do you have a story to tell? A photo to share? A fly recipe that's too good to keep secret? If you would like to contribute content to Tenkara Angler, find your way over to tenkara-angler.com. To submit your contribution,